What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about a new PS5 controller feature, at least a potential one. They've been patenting a lot of different things for the PlayStation 5 in general. Sony has. We've actually talked about it a few weeks ago. We did a video talking about the whole AI thing. Remember, they have an AI, potentially. They could potentially do this. An AI which basically tracks what you're doing in games and would eventually recommend things to you, which would kind of lead in the way that they've even said it in the patent, would more or less lead to having you buy microtransactions for the game. That was a negative. That's not a good example of what I want PlayStation to track, but this thing, a PS5 feature, I like this. So let's talk about what it actually is going to do, or what it could do at least, and then we can do a little analysis on it. So basically, it is a sensor which might exist on one or both sides of the Dualshock 5's controller grip, so where you grip the controller, would be intended to measure the heart rate and sweat excretions of the player, through which the game might adapt accordingly. In a horror game, for example, jump scares might be held off until the pad recognizes that your heart rate has peaked, while elsewhere, the sensor could be used in a fitness-style game or app to obvious effect, and then it kind of gives the whole diagram of it. So this is a whole lot more interesting. Again, I talked about in that last video, I do, and I said in that video, I do have a problem just in general with the way the world works of a lot of things monitoring literally everything we do. It is a scary kind of new world that we're entering, right, where just TVs and computers and all this stuff can hear what you're saying and recognize that. You can look at it right now, Facebook, a lot of different things where, hey, have you ever seen ads pop up based off of something that you were talking with a friend or a loved one or something? You ever seen that ad pop up like that day or the next day? It's because it hears you and it knows where you are, stuff like that. That is a little scary, but ultimately, I mean, there's nothing I can do as an individual that's going to stop that trend. So the whole idea of, again, the last patent, the PS5 specific patent of, basically watching everything you're doing, keeping very advanced stats and figuring out what you need help in, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like I said, games already kind of do that. They just don't help you. But a lot of games have inside them, developers of those games have so many micro stats of hey, here's how many times a person did this or used this weapon or beat this enemy or, whatever. Or this is how long to the second that they played this game or this level. I mean, all of those things are calculated and kept. It's just that the patent would do more with it. The scary part of that last patent was that, again, it would recommend you stuff, which would kind of lead to microtransactions, and we don't want microtransactions, right? So a thing like this with the controller, and I was saying the whole PS5 thing before because I kind of wanted to get ahead of the story. Again, it's going to monitor literally your body, right? It's going to keep track of your heart rate. It's going to keep track of your sweat. So, when you're worried about stuff. Now, if you're just a sweaty person, or if you're, playing a Call of Duty match and you're just, not in the term maybe you would imagine it, but you know what I mean, right? I don't know necessarily how that would work, but to be honest with you, straight up honest, I do like this. This is an example of, futuristic technology that I would be, more inclined to want, right? Something, again, and I don't necessarily have a problem with them monitoring my game and recommending me. It's basically advanced hinting is what the first thing would be. Only, again, I don't want them to take it so far to keep bringing me to the PlayStation Store. I don't want that part, but I have no problem with them not necessarily interrupting my game, but being hey, here's some stats for you. This player beat this boss this way. You don't have that weapon. You need to go get that weapon. Again, I don't want them to make me buy the weapon from the store. And then something like this is cool, right? If you're playing Until Dawn, honestly, is the first thing that came to my mind when I thought, I don't know why, but Until Dawn's the first thing. It's yes, those, horror games and just in general, it would definitely be, I think, more of a horror game kind of thing. Although, I think, because they even made reference, Metro Exodus's developers, they were even talking about a feature that's got them really, really excited, and these guys kind of inferred that this could be it. Metro is kind of a horror, but it's more like a horror survivor shooter. So you don't need to necessarily be pure horror. You don't need to be Amnesia or PT or Until Dawn or stuff like that. You don't necessarily, I think, have to be only that kind of game in order to take advantage of this function, I think it would be a pretty cool thing. It would be that kind of thing for like any game that maybe would have stealth elements to it. There's a lot of potential in that ability. So this is, and again, an example of something that, like, I mean, it's your heart rate, like, and it's just in the moment. Like, if they take my heart rate and the game has some sort of feature to it that it knows, what you're doing and how you're feeling, and then it's going to hold off on a jump scare or whatever until the right moment, that enhances a game's experience. I don't think it's the biggest thing in the world. Again, it seems kind of geared to a specific kind of games. Again, maybe not pure horror, but something with a horror or stealth, because horror games in general, or at least something like that, like jump scares, a lot of those do kind of rely on you being hidden or you hiding from somebody else, right? So like stealth kind of elements. So even maybe in like a Horizon or an Assassin's Creed or something, like if you're hiding in bushes, you're hiding something, maybe it knows and it could impact how the enemies do their searching, right? Maybe there's engines of how enemies, move around the environment. So, or Last of Us Part 2 is a really good example, right? With clickers and stuff. So there's a lot that, I mean, they wouldn't be able to do it for Part 2, but maybe like Last of Us Part 3. So it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting thing that comes out. We don't know all that much about the PS5's controller. There were rumors that it was going to have like a camera on it, and that it would have some features with that. The recent rumors with PlayStation 5 in general, though, have said that I think that got taken out of the PS5's controller because it would just be too expensive. So I think originally it was that the touchpad would be replaced basically with a camera, kind of like the Vita's like screen in that spot. That may or may not still be there, but it's getting to the point where it's like we need to see these things, and I think there'll be another video later today talking about that. PlayStation needs to show up and needs to talk about these things very, very soon, and I think they will. It's just that I think people's patience is kind of running thin. But guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you like the idea of this new feature? Would you want it, with the PS5, with the PS5 controller? Would that like make you get the PS5 controller more or less? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast. Now hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video.